Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Matthews, the Great American Bow Hunter with Feel the Spirit. Don't believe me? I got a target out here at 45 yards and a longbow. Today we're going to be talking about bow hand position and bow grip. Don't believe the GoPro footage? I'll show you with the main camera myself. Hey guys, welcome to Feel the Spirit. And today we're going to be talking about grip and bow hand when shooting your traditional bow. So if you watched the last video and you watched through where I was shooting at the end of it, you could see every now and then my bow hand would want to move or drop or something like that. One problem and flaw that I found in shooting my bow is that I was putting pressure in the wrong place. See, as we like to draw the bow back, our body wants to come back in up and diagonal at that angle. So all we're doing is pushing it down and back. And by that, as I draw the bow back, a lot of the times I would end up above the target. For bow hand and grip position, you want to be putting pressure into the bottom side of the grip, not the top. You want to push the bow into your hand here and then just lightly set your fingers down and use the bottom of your hand as a pressure point. And this is a very low risk grip because this is a longbow. I don't have any high wrists, but this is more of your standard grip. And same thing here. It's just not gonna be as palmed out. You're gonna be grabbing the bow like, you're not gonna be as palmed out, but you're just gonna be grabbing the bow like that. I would take the bow and draw it and come up above the target. I was trying to fight the weight of the bow for a long time. And what that would cause is as you start to put that pressure higher up into the grip, what that causes is you start to have less control over it. But not only that, it takes it and it tilts the bow down. And what happens when it tilts the bow down, you shoot lower. So instead of actually adjusting my bow hand and my aim, I would just start drawing back and then rolling my hand forward and pushing the bow down. And what you would see a lot of the times as I would release, the bow would kind of come forward. What that caused was the bow wanted to jump out of my hand all the time. And since the bow wanted to jump out of my hand all the time, what starts to happen then? As I shoot and the bow wants to jump forward and then fall back because it's top heavy, as it would jump forward, I would try to grab it and catch it. And what happens then? All of a sudden, this starts happening, this starts happening, this starts happening, this starts happening, this starts happening. And you start trying to grab the bow and control it from doing those things. And you start to miss shots, start to get start to get wrist slap, start to get all this stuff that you do not want in your release and all these inconsistencies that you just do not want in your shot. A lot of the times I have to catch myself as I draw back. I'll draw back and then I'll make sure that my hand is still putting pressure in the bottom here rather than rolling my hand forward. And a lot of the times I use that as a finish to my shot. So what I'll do is as I draw back and once I come to anchor, I'll start here and I'll have the bow holding right. But as I draw back, my hand wants to roll forward. And all I do is I just roll my wrist back. And that's how I know that I'm ready to finish my shot. Right after I roll my wrist back, I let go. I'm very conscious about whenever I release the arrow, just because I practice to hunt and not practice to shoot groups on a target. If you're just practicing to shoot groups on a target, there's going to be some things that I say that will only apply to somebody who only wants to train for bow hunting, but I will give you the cue like, hey, this is only going to apply to you if you're hunting. And with that being said, I started following a lot of target archers, and my shot process got worse. And over the last few days, I've been trying to hunt some groundhogs. It's so not natural for me to shoot these certain ways that I was trying to shoot like a target archer does, or like an Olympic style archer does. And so I need to do what works for me. And what I found is subconsciously, I'm doing all the same things that I was doing. I was just trying to turn them into conscious decisions. So I started to realize I just need to take my flaws and fix my flaws and keep everything else the same, because I went from being able to just stack arrows to missing the whole entire target just because I was trying to draw the load and my focus would come off of what I want to hit. I'm an instinctive aimer. I just look at what I want to shoot and try to push my hand at it. That's all I need to be focused on, is what I want to hit and pushing my hands towards what I want to hit. This is a thing that applies to everybody, because you do want your bow hand grip to be solid. Don't roll your hand forward. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you grab the bow this way, if you grab the bow this way, heck, if you even grab it like this. I don't care if you grab it any of those ways, as long as you're pushing into the bottom rather than the top. And as you let that thing go, I like to not even touch it at all. I like to lay this finger right here on the front of it. And then as I let go and it comes forward, it just jumps. And then all I have is this finger here just acts as a guard to catch it, and then it just rolls over. And a lot of the times it'll just jump back and then roll back in my hand as I shoot now. That was one problem I just needed to get over, and here recently I started really getting over that. Another problem would be I would try to drop the bow into the target. I developed that very, very early, but now I've gotten rid of that. I'll do it sometimes, but as long as I hold back for about 3 seconds and make sure as I draw that I'm focusing on what I want to hit and my bow arm, rather than focusing on trying to draw the load and then come up into anchor and then aim and then decide, okay, now it's time to expand, and then expand to release. I'm just doing all that, but subconsciously rather than consciously. So my shot process does look like that. My shot process looks like draw the load. It's just a very fast subconscious. It's not a, okay, grab hook, set bow hand, position, drop shoulder, draw down with back, right? Draw the load, come backing up, anchor, aim, expand, release, right? It doesn't look like that. It looks like this. Because I'm doing all that just in a very quick subconscious fashion. It's the same thing. I'm just doing it in a very subconscious manner rather than a quick subconscious manner, than to do it consciously, making the decisions in my conscious brain every single time. I've shot to the point now to where this is ingrained, and I have the right motor program installed into my head, and my subconscious knows. I've heard a lot of people say, this is gonna sound stupid, and I'm sorry if you've ever said this, but it's pretty dumb. If you say, well, I think subconscious is or I think instinctive is just a subconscious gap. Duh. That's what split vision is too. I mean, split vision is like a mix between a subconscious but conscious gap. Everything is based off gap shooting. I mean, it's just kind of silly to have to sit here and say this, but your instinct is your subconscious. Your instinct isn't just this magical thing that floats around inside of you. It is just your subconscious. It's this little fancy magical word that we use to say subconscious. Whenever you have an instinctive feeling, you have your subconscious says, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. Or you say, oh, you know, my gut feeling. Your gut is the same thing as instinct. All it is your subconscious brain. So to say, oh, well, you know, I think subconscious is just, or I think instinctive is just subconscious gap shooting, it's quite stupid. Anyway, I think it's time to get into shooting the target. And I'm not trying to rag on anybody, but all it takes is a little bit of thinking of, oh, hey, well, let me ask myself, what is instinctive? Oh, yeah, it's just my subconscious and my gut. So my gut, my instinct, I just had a feeling, all of that is just words used to describe as intuition, which is something that you've done or just know subconsciously. But anyway, I'm gonna shoot some shots. I just needed to get that out of the way. I'm just gonna shoot some shots, show you my bow hand and what it does, and then I'll do some slow-mos with my GoPro, because my GoPro records in 120 frames and it does really good slow motion footage. But I'm gonna take a couple shots here, and I'm gonna do a couple with the high wrist or the standard wrist grip. I've never really used a standard wrist grip. I really like a low wrist like this, because I really like to just make a wall with my hand as I'm holding the bow. Long bows are kind of my favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna take a few shots. I'm not gonna set up the GoPro so that you can see where I'm hitting. All I want you to do is I want you to watch my bow hand as I pull this back. Okay, so after changing angles twice, I've decided that just taking the arrows out and letting you watch my hand right here would probably be the best. But I'll do one from this way first, like this, so you can see, just because only my thumb's on this side. And then I'll rotate the camera around me and you can I'll do one in front of me and one kind of this way maybe, or actually I'll probably put one like right here instead of behind me. I'll just put it like right here to where you can just see my bow hand even exactly at the target. What I'm gonna do is shoot like this. I'm not gonna put the GoPro up because I want you to just focus on my bow hand. All I'm doing is I'm grabbing the bow like this and making sure I'm putting pressure down here, not up here, but down here like this. I'm just touching it like that. I keep these fingers open at first, but once I draw back, I come down and lay these on the back of the bow. And all I'll do is take it, draw it, and push it at the target. And as you can see, it just falls into place. As you can see, it just jumps and rolls back. Not really focusing on shooting a good shot. I'm just trying to make sure I do my bow hand right so I don't mess anything up, so y'all don't get confused. You should really be able to see from this angle right exactly what my hand's doing. And I shot above the target, but I wasn't really shooting. Just trying to make sure my form's good. I'll do a slow-mo. I'm gonna shoot a group real quick, just because I changed my shots a little, like just very slightly. I wanted to shoot a couple shots here, show you where I'm hitting. Let everybody tell me what I'm doing wrong. Just high, I'll bring it down. Just to the right of where I was looking, but I'll shoot at that knock point this time. I'll shoot for the knock of that second arrow. Just high. But there you can see, all I'm doing is I'm doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, but I'm adapting it for a bow hunting scenario and not a target archery scenario, because I don't shoot targets. I train to shoot animals, Animals move, they don't stand still and never move like a target does. They're in random locations that you have to randomly get upon them at. It's a little bit different. Here's my group. I always put the pressure in the low part of the grip, and do not roll your hand forward and start putting the pressure up here, because that's no-no. Make sure you put it right here. Don't grab the bow when you let go. Just when you shoot, just let it jump in your hand. Don't try to squeeze it. Just hold on to it. You can hold on to it like this if you really want to, but just put the pressure. Make sure you're putting the pressure down low, and on the standard high grip, make sure you're not pushing it like this, but rather putting the pressure right here at the base of your thumb. Or if you're holding it like this, make sure you're putting it right through here, putting the pressure down in here rather than up here. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Go follow my Instagram, because I don't think I ever say that. And yeah, thank you, Lord, for a beautiful day, and y'all keep feeling spirit.